Off the top at 5, a plea from this woman in a bizarre murder plot. The St. Charles County prosecutor confirmed Pamela Hupp has pleaded guilty. Good evening, everyone. I'm Courtney Bryant.
And I'm Chris Negus in for Claire Kellett. Today, Pamela Hupp said she's guilty, but she's not exactly admitting that she committed the crime. News 4's investigates Lauren Traeger has been tracking the case for years. She joins us now with the latest developments from outside the courtroom. And Lauren, this was a complex case, and today, a bit of a legal twist.
Yeah, that's right. This is what is known as an Alford plea, where Pamela Hupp did not actually have to acknowledge her guilt, but she did have to say that the state had enough evidence to prove her guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, she appeared in court today looking very thin. Her hair is now longer and gray. She never once said, "Your Honor," didn't seem to be very polite in the court proceeding. In fact, she seemed a bit smug. The prosecutor here today saying it was clear from day one that she hatched this plot to kill.
I mean, it just doesn't make sense. To me, when we heard what she told these guys, I said, boy, that sounds like something a middle school kid would come up with to write a crime story.
Now, some background here. Hupp was accused of luring 33-year-old Louis Gumpenberger to her home in an attempt to frame someone else for a separate murder back in 2011. Hupp had claimed Gumpenberger was an intruder into her home and said the shooting was in self-defense. But prosecutors say Gumpenberger had a traumatic brain injury, could not have pulled off such a crime. They say evidence really mounted against Hupp. They say it was overwhelming. In fact, today we got to take a look at some of that evidence for the very first time. One of those is a piece of surveillance video. The prosecutors say they were tracking her movements before the crime, and they say this surveillance video was of her attempting to lure other people to her home before Gumpenberger, using the ruse that she was in fact a producer for the show Dateline. Another piece of evidence that we got to see today for the very first time was of some money. Prosecutors, they say they found money in Gumpenberger's pocket at the scene of the crime, but that money sequentially matched money found in Hupp's home by the serial number. Evidence the prosecutors say that Hupp gave Gumpenberger the money, intending on killing him to frame another person. So who's that other person? Well, that person is Russell Faria. Faria was accused and later acquitted of his wife's murder back in 2011, as I mentioned. Hupp was a key witness in that case, even collected the victim's life insurance, and many people have speculated that she herself was involved in that murder. We spoke with Russ Faria outside court today and asked about Hupp not acknowledging her guilt in this case.
Relieved, but a little disappointed, because I would have liked to have seen her allocate to all of her crimes. But relieved that she's going to be locked up for a very long time and won't be killing anybody else.
Now, Hupp will be formally sentenced in August, but the only possible sentence she faces is life without the possibility of parole. She's 60 years old, so she will spend the rest of her life in prison. Prosecutor Tim Lomar today said he accepted this Alford plea in part because it secures a conviction without a long, withdrawn, and possibly costly trial. Also because he says the victim's family was okay with it. Now, Gumpenberger's mother was here in court today, but she declined to talk with us. Coming up on News 4 at 6, my colleague Alexis Zotos is going to give you even more on this case, including that strange 911 call that was played for the very first time today. Live at the St. Charles County Courthouse, Lauren Traeger, News 4.